Tried some of those things with rhythm solo, and soloing isn't working. What do you do? Here's some specific things you can try to think rhythmically instead of just all note-wise. A thing that I really try to do is to be able to analyze anything you hear into a purely rhythmic form. In other words, if you hear like 2, 3, 4. If you hear that, be able to hear it as 2, 3, 4. Pure rhythm, like anything you hear, be able to think of it as if it were played on a snare drum. Be able to do it with vocal lines, horn lines, guitar lines, and just whenever you hear music, try to hear it only rhythmically. And this will help you so much when you build your own melodies or phrases, because you can sort of do it the other way around. You can take a simple rhythm, add notes to it, and you won't believe how cool it'll sound. I mean, you can take things that are pretty goofy sounding rhythms. I mean, again, let's take that groove, that in A, we have this tempo, and just take a real simple rhythm, something like maybe 2, 3, 4. And then add notes to it, like 2, 3, 4. And you have a cool phrase immediately that has an interesting rhythm to it. Obviously, it has to have one because that's what you started with. You can start doing more things with a rhythm, like, let's see, same kind of thing. And that's, so that's sort of the process. I mean, eventually you want to get to the point where you can play the notes and the rhythm together, but it's a great place to start with just the rhythm, to be able to break it down to that level of simplicity. And the more you analyze music that you like, I mean, make sure you pick stuff that you dig. Take copy tunes or, start with that, figure out what the vocals are doing rhythmically. It's usually really, really simple. And, but with all the other stuff added on, with the melody and with the phrasing, with the dynamics, and with the tone, it ends up sounding cool in the big musical stew. But it all starts with the rhythm, or at least that's one place you can start. It's a real good starting point. So try to analyze a lot of music you hear rhythmically, and you'll develop sort of an intuitive sense of what kind of rhythms you have to use in order to make phrases that are cool. Let me play a few more examples, and we'll break them down into just the rhythm. For instance, here's a tune I've written recently. It's a faster tune. The tempo is something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rhythmically, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a pretty long one, but you can analyze certain things about it that'll help you get that feel. There aren't any triplets in it. It's all based off figures that can be divided by 4. It's either quarter notes, or eighth notes, or 16th notes. Combinations of that. There's no triplets. And from doing that kind of thing, you get a specific kind of feel. Whereas something that's more triplet-oriented, it could be something like, let's see, here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Which rhythmically would be more of a swing kind of feel. So just, try to do that to everything you can. Really sort of set out on a quest of breaking things down rhythmically, analyzing what the heck's going on, and then being able to build it back up. You can even take a rhythm of a song that's somebody else's song, add your own notes, it'll probably sound completely different. This will work real well in just teaching you how to compose and how to phrase. Really, really great tool again for doing that thing where you do rhythm solo, you know. You got to think of a rhythm at that tempo. Maybe, you know, heck, that Mozart thing would work. That I mean, real slow and goofy rhythm at that point, you know. But if you add the right notes, it's going to sound cool, you know. You know, it gets mean sounding. You know, it's all in the way you add the notes in. But there's always that basic rhythmic structure that if you pay attention to it and analyze it a little bit, will really help out your phrasing a whole lot. Okay, so we talked about rhythm, we talked about phrasing, and through the whole thing, I sort of assumed that when I said, and then you add the notes, that you knew what I meant. But just in case that's not entirely clear, here's something that's worked great for me, and hopefully will work good for you, is a lot of stuff based off pentatonic. The reason I use this scale is it works in a lot of different musical styles, and it's real easy to do, and a lot of good notes in it. Give you an example of what the heck I mean. Just your standard pentatonic fingering, you know, an A minor or something. You know, played straight up and down like that is fairly, you know, sort of exercise scale sounding, you know, and it's not fast enough to be terrifying, and it's not, you know, it's just pentatonic scale, pretty boring. You know, you got to add the rhythm and the dynamics and all those things. You know, you got to be able to go, you know, pick a tempo, and suddenly it's music, you know. But to me, that kind of shape works real well because all the notes sound good. You know, it's not like a big 7-note scale, like a major scale, where a lot of the tones aren't as strong. They aren't chord tones. They aren't the root, the third, the fifth, or notes that if you bend them, like right there, I hit the 4th and bend it up to the 5th, or the 7th and bend it up to the root. And that's the cool thing about pentatonic, is everything's either a chord tone or a note where if you bend it up, becomes a chord tone. So you're almost guaranteed whatever you hit, it's going to sound cool, or it won't sound cool right away until you bend it, but bending's so hip that it'll make it sound cool and it'll add to your phrasing. Another thing you can do is starting to add on other notes to give it a little more flavor. And the cool thing about thinking pentatonic and then adding on another note is it saves up that note. It's not like a big, long scale with lots of notes in it where you're always using the notes over and over again. So you get tired of them. This, you save it up, so when you hit that extra note, it really stands out and has a great effect to it. For instance, you know, a simple one is just add the blues note, which is a flat 5. In this case, it would be a D sharp or an E flat. I guess an E flat if I said flat 5. So a good fingering for that, you know, just your standard pentatonic. Add that note. That kind of thing. Again, played straight through as a scale, it's not that exciting, but if you add it on in a rhythm, single rhythm, let's see. Something like that. Let me do that again, see if I can get a slightly better note choice. Same rhythm. You know, something like that. Gives you that little extra flavor. You do the same thing with the Dorian note, which is the major 6th. Which is real cool for bending, too, up to the major or the minor 7th. And that'll sound something like this if you do the full pentatonic scale with the Dorian note added. Like that, real cool for phrasing. You know, if you again, let's do that. Let me think of a rhythm. You know, I guess definitely unique sound to it. And as opposed to playing a whole Dorian scale up and down, it sounds a lot more musical. It sounds more like a phrase that you know, came from your brain instead of your fingers. Another one is the major 3rd, which I often use after the minor 3rd. In other words, instead of just replacing the minor 3rd with it, I'll go, I kind of do like the root, the minor 3rd, the major 3rd. Gives it a sort of a combination Dorian Mixolydian sound. Real great way of ending a blues phrase, you know, going like, and also has a flavor of the major pentatonic, which of course is the same fingering down a minor third in position. This will also work great if you go between both major pentatonic and minor pentatonic. They complement each other very much if you play it in a bluesy kind of a context. And if you what I did there, played major pentatonic first, and then tried to end it with minor pentatonic. So I'll do a couple things where I go between the two positions. It'll be obvious which scale I'm using because I'll either be down here in second position or up here in fifth. So let's try that. And, you know, that's one of the cool things about that bluesy kind of style is you can get away with going between that minor and major thing. And it sounds really cool. You can even play the same lick. You can take something like, you know, just real simple, you know. There I slid into a C sharp and just did 4 notes out of major pentatonic, C sharp, E, F sharp, and A. I give that a try, make sure it works. Then I do the same exact thing in minor pentatonic. So it'd be up 3 frets, which the notes happen to be E, G, A, and C. So you can do the two together. Now that sounds pretty cool to slow tempo, you know. You can also do it pretty quick, you know. Again, the actual note choice is real simple right out of pentatonic, but it's the phrasing and the rhythm that makes it interesting, and the dynamics, how hard you hit it if you're muting the strings. All those things are real easy to overlook if you're doing, you know, lots of metronoming and stuff, but in real music, that's what brings it to life.
I knew that.